everybody, welcome back to Miriam's channel, and in this video I will be doing another story time video if you get what I mean. I'll be talking about my sexual assault that happened when I was about 17 in my first job. And to be honest, I haven't told a lot of people. I kind of just told a few people that I wanted to tell. Like, my family don't even know about this, so I hope they're not watching this video, especially my dad, because he would kick off, man. The thing is, it didn't really affect me that much. I mean, it still affected me, but it wasn't like a big serious issue. It still was a sexual assault, and it still obviously shouldn't happen at work. But it didn't affect me as much as it could have affected somebody else, if you know what I mean. I think it's because I'm generally a strong person, and I kind of just took it in, and I hope it doesn't happen to you. And if it does happen to you, make sure you tell somebody and solve it out. Because I didn't. I do regret I didn't solve it out. But because I was so young and stupid and naive, I kind of just took it in and carried on working there. So let's begin this story time. When I was about 17 years old, I had a first job. It was at Dominos. Okay, I'm just gonna say at Dominos, but I'm not gonna say any names or anything or where it was, but it was Dominos. Dominos, it's where you order pizza, and I was the person that was taking the phone calls and dealing with the service. Like, this was my first job. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just needed any job, and I kind of wanted to get it anywhere, if you know what I mean, because I really needed the money. I used to answer the phone calls on the main kind of floor, if you know what I mean, like in front of the customers. But where I worked, we also had this like a room. It was manager's office, but in that room there was like computer as well, and you could take phone calls there, and there was a phone as well to call the Dominos, and other phones, and there was a camera and like a screen where it would show you everybody that's working on the floor, if that makes sense. It was just a little room for the manager. Sometimes I used to go to that office on the shifts and sit there and answer phone calls from there and watch everybody on the camera. There was a few managers there. There was like a main manager who was okay, and there was like a supervisor, and the supervisor was the problem. And in that Domino's, I don't want to be racist or anything, but majority of people used to be Asians. I wasn't the only white person there, but maybe there was either 3 white girls or 4 white girls there, and the rest kind of was Asians. And sometimes there used to be shifts where it was, for example, like a Monday, and it wouldn't be busy, so they wouldn't have loads of people working there, because all you have to do is answer phone calls. They would, for example, have just one person there, and the rest would be like Asians and men, like drivers and pizza cutters and pizza makers, but hardly any Asians that would answer the phone call, if you know what I mean. And being the only girl there, I didn't have a problem with it, but the thing was, I used to be the only girl there on that shift, and the rest was like old men who would stare at you, not because you're kind of, I was 17, but they would stare at you in a pervy kind of way, which I could always tell when it's a pervy kind of way, and I'm sure most of the girls can tell that as well. And sometimes they would ask me stupid questions like, I don't know, do you have a boyfriend, or would you want to go on a date with me? Like some creepy, stupid things, but make it into a joke, which at the end of the day wasn't a joke. But if I was working there on my own, on a shift where I was bored, hardly any phone calls, I would have to kind of talk to them. I can't just ignore them, obviously, because we're working together. So I would have to kind of deal with it and kind of ignore it and accept it and just not take it in. So the assistant manager was obviously old as well. He must have been about 40. But I was actually good friends with him, and I could sometimes talk to him normally. Like, obviously I didn't really have a choice not to talk to him, but he would sometimes talk to me like normally, like about normal subjects and normal things. So I would kind of be friends with him a little bit more than the rest. Him being nice to you as a manager, you obviously think, oh, okay, he's a good manager, like he respects others, respects the employees. So I'm cool with that, you know. So one day he was like, I don't remember exactly now what happened, like exactly, but I'm sure one day they were making comments about my body, and I was kind of standing there answering the phone calls where I could see them in the corner talking about me and showing my body. So I kind of was like looking at them like, what are you talking about? But obviously I was on the phone, so I couldn't really say anything. So after I put the phone down, I was asking them like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about me? What are you talking about my body? And they were like, oh yeah, you got nice boobs. And I was like, okay then. Like, obviously I'm trying to ignore it, not take it in. But at the end of the day, it's 40-year-old men that are looking at me, and I'm 17 at that time, and they probably have wives, and they're saying stuff like that to me. So I was like, okay, thanks. About half an hour later, I was hanging about the area in the workplace, and the phone rang, and I was next to the office. So obviously I went to the office and I sat down on the chair and I answered the phone call. And I'm talking on the phone call to people about the pizza, obviously. And the assistant manager comes from behind. So imagine he comes from behind and he's behind me looking at what I'm doing, because the screen is here. And I'm here looking at the screen typing, and he's behind. He's coming behind and he's looking at my boobs, and his hand is going, and I had a t-shirt on, because at Domino's you have to have like kind of coloured t-shirt, and obviously you have like a collar like this and few buttons, and the buttons don't go all the way if you're a girl, they just kind of end there, so it's kind of like this, like it's not a massive, it's not like this, but it's kind of like just a little bit like that. And I'm skinny, so I have kind of always a loose shirt on because they're all too big for me, so I had a shirt like this. So anyway, he comes from behind and his hand is about to go to my breast, I mean like down to my shirt like this. So at that point I was like talking to on the phone to this lady, and I'm like going like this, like get off me, but obviously I don't want to say get off me to the lady, yeah, and talk to him. So I was just like get off me, and at that time he started saying, oh yeah, you got nice boobs, can I touch your boobs? And I'm just like no, and he didn't care, so his hand went down to my breast. He didn't do anything, it kind of just went, I don't know why I'm still holding the phone, imaginary phone, but anyway, his hand went down here, not exactly on my boob, but if I didn't stop it, obviously it would go down to my boob. But as he was doing that, I finished the conversation, I put the phone down and I was like, get off me. And I stood up and I was like, do not ever touch me again. So obviously what I should have done is, as soon as he tried to touch me, put the phone down, get up and be like, bye, or whatever, leave, and then probably report him. But because I was a bit stupid, I was like, never touch me again. And I went back to answer the phones again and just stay there for the rest of the shifts for about 3 more hours. He didn't apologise, he didn't really care. To him it was funny jokes and everything, which to me it really wasn't, because for the rest of the shift I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was on my own, but I was just like, don't talk to me, I don't want to talk to you. And he was just like, fine, whatever. And yeah, to him it wasn't a massive issue. I went home and I cried, I burst in tears. At first I didn't know why I was crying, but then obviously I realised that it's probably what happened. I told one of my friends, and yeah, I told him not to tell anybody, and he didn't, but he obviously supported me. He asked me if I want him to go then beat him up, but I was just like, no, because I have to go back there because I need the money, which at that point I thought I really needed the money, but I should have just really leave that job and find a new job. But because it was my first job, I didn't really have any experience. So I thought I'm not gonna find a new job or whatever. I don't know what I was thinking, I was just so stupid. So I went back to this job and I acted like nothing happened, and he never touched me again after that, because I showed him that I don't want him ever touching me again. I didn't really speak to him after that a lot. Like, I tried to just have simple conversation or hardly ever speak to him, or just because he's a manager I had to kind of communicate with him. But I think I left about a month or 2 months after that, which was a long time, but from that time I just started looking for a new job, and yeah, that is the story. And for anybody who works at Domino's, I hope nothing like this happens to you. I hope I wasn't bragging on too much, like when I talk too fast, and I think I start going a bit, I don't know what I'm saying, so I'm just going blah, 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 blah. So excuse me. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to see any more story videos, as I have loads to tell you, then like this video. Comment if you had the same issue or the same problem, or if you ever worked at Domino's and that happened to you or didn't happen to you. I'd love to hear it from you. And yeah, if you want to see more videos, then please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bang, 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 bang.